This is Greenie's seat post here. As you can see, it's all nice and cleaned with Rusty Co. We've outlaid everything. We have the Harley book in front of us so we can pay attention to what we're doing. So these here, this is not quite the spring assembly that the book calls for. There's different weights of springs. So I'm going to assemble what was in the seat post, and hopefully that is the right weight for my body. Until I get it assembled and actually ride the motorcycle, we won't know. So we got to pack the springs. A nice little grease pack on the springs here. Usually people leave this way too dry, at least for my taste. I like a little grease inside. Doesn't have to be packed solid, but the idea is to have some grease for movement. Packed solid, there's no room for movement, so you don't want it packed solid. Some of you guys go, well, how do you know how much? Well, you guess. There's no specifics. There's nothing in the book. There's nothing other than experience and your own intuition. It's going to tell you how much you need. And if you get it wrong, then you get to take it all back apart and redo it. That's how you learn. Come on. Ouch. Sharp edges. Come on. Spin together. We want to get this tight first. So I just have the video rolling, so if you guys are able to see what I'm doing, because I can't see behind the camera. The last video we made was just disassembling the one off the 38. This is the one off of Greenie. You saw us disassembled before. It's now all clean and pretty, ready to go back together. This does not have to be super tight. It's almost like a finger tight. And when we get the top half done, we'll take it over and just get another on the other vise over there. We want to check and see what this does. So we have play in here. This is what it's supposed to do, but it's supposed to have grease in there. There's play because the whole thing's not packed with springs. It's supposed to move up and down. That is our movement. That is the movement that you have. You see this here? That is your movement. The rest is cushion on the spring so you don't bottom out. That is your movement. So now we're going to double confirm what we're doing here. With our book. As much as I've done this, I still like to refer back to the book. That way you just, hopefully, don't mess up. So, now if you notice, I took half of the spring, had it full of juice, grease, whatever you want to call it, had it all nice and juicy around the outside, and I took that and compacted it into the spring. You do want play. You don't want it packed tight with grease. Again, that's my opinion. Nothing more than that. I'm sure there'll be some expert who'll tell me how wrong I am about doing this. Whatever. Oh, Book says large spring, small spring, large spring. That's what we're going to do. And we'll check where we want all this. Which way these go. And we're just following the book. Now, this goes so. So we're calling for the big nut. Here we go. Well, that's overlooking something. That's why I pull out the book. Screw down the big nut. We can get that nice and juicy like that. If you'll have to excuse me, I'm going to put this over the vise over there. I'll bring the camera over. So now we have nice messy hands. And on clean parts that are really clean, I personally do not consider this reusing my grease. Those parts are nice and cleaned. You can do what you want with your grease. I will do what I want with my grease. At any rate, it's a lot better condition than what I found it in, is it not? It is, in the end, just a seat post. It's not a motor. So, okay. Now we need to take our little tools, our little nuts here, and the camera over where I was. Just assembling, and yes, there's the manual. The seat post over here, and see if we can't get this finished. Okay, there we go. It's right there. Now, again, you're guessing on how tight you want this. The tighter you go, the less travel you have. So I like to put it together with as much travel as possible and assemble it. When I sit on it, and I bounce up and down and see how I like it. If you don't like it, you get to take it apart. Simple as that. Come on. need a paper towel. You cannot do this unless you can at least tolerate use all over your hands, because you will have it. Some people like that. Yeah? Well, I'm right in the middle of making a video. She was talking about Bear Doodoo. He's been real funny about his food lately. So I have to make it for him. He gets all protective. Bipolar Doodoo, I swear. I think people are the only ones that are bipolar. I assure you it's not the case. Come on. All right. Now, what I have to do is take 2 nuts here and tighten them up together. So wrench. Okay. Now, oops. Spin this down. And again, I like to leave as much travel as possible. Still have it all together. So it's not a specific science, it's a rough guess. Everything's going to fit or not fit. So first you just do that. 2 nuts obviously held the center shaft from spinning. Let's see. Take our little vice grips here. Just do this a little bit more snug. Come on. There we go. So then unspin itself and injure everything. So we'll spin this on down here. Like so. This has to have enough room for all this other stuff to actually go together and have threads out the bottom. And you can tighten it up more if you're heavier than me. Tighter you go with springs and the less travel you have, and they do have, or had, I'm sure you can find it if you look, Harley might still have them. They did offer seat posts all the way up to the 80s. Probably still order the seat springs. See, we don't have enough threads. So, let's pull this back down here and tighten those. So, okay, now take and further extend this down. Come on. Not difficult, it's just a time-consuming process. Let's see. A little bit more. No, there's no thread count. This is entirely subjective. It's entirely a guesstimate. That's all it is. This isn't rocket science. Spikes are incredibly simple. Problem is, everybody who likes to work on them likes to get paid for doing nothing, or as little as possible. So just taking the time to do it right and charge you the money. It's like, oh, I'm already paying you how much an hour? Why don't you just, do it right? Are you really that greedy? Greed. What it is. I hate greedy people. It bugs me. Okay. So we'll spin this down here. All right. Now we'll take this one. Spin her around. Some tight threads on it. Check that before I start putting it together. And yes, contrary to some people's opinion, you can use a tap or dye to clean the dirt out of your threads. If it removes the material, it just means that your threads are imperfect. It will not remove the material unless it needs to be removed. How do I know this? I've done it plenty of times. And I've had arguments with that. Lots of people, but too bad. I guarantee you my tap and dye set is probably better than theirs, unless they're a machinist. Maybe even then. Okay. Now we have that. So, we're going to stop this video here, because I gotta clean my hands. And we'll go deal with dinner and the doo-doo food. When we come back, we're going to put the seat post back in a Greenie. That'll be another video.